Good evening. Hi, good evening, and welcome to Network and Chill. How are you doing this evening? It is your hostess with the mostest, Bridget, coming live with you tonight. Our other hostess will be on the way shortly, but I'm here to get things started tonight. I hope you all had an amazing day. I had a long day. Started off kind of rough, but I'm better, and I'm definitely raising my energy, raising my vibration, raising my good spirit. You understand? By keeping a smile on my face. Smiling, smiling will lift your whole spirit. Try standing in the mirror and smiling and see if you stay mad. If you can stay mad while you are standing in the mirror smiling, that is it's kind of hard to do. But one thing, I'm glad to be here with you all live tonight. We got our jazz playing in the background. I do not own the rights to this music for Facebook. Just a disclaimer that you have to put out there. But I am happy to be here with you all tonight. I'm going to check a couple of things while I'm waiting on a few of you to join to make sure everyone can see and hear us clearly. And if you are joining live, go ahead and say hello, leave a comment. I want to share this broadcast in a couple of places, and we shall begin the podcast. And one thing I wanted to definitely begin with sharing tonight while I get all of our things shared in the proper places is just being aware of your energy. You know, when you are in a position, when you are a person I would say someone who wants to uplift, when you're someone who wants to be there for other people and you want to be the person to bring joy and happiness to someone's life, then you know the very thing that you want to bring to someone else, you're going to be challenged on that. You're going to be challenged on the very thing that you want to do for the other person. So what you want to do is definitely be mindful of your energy, because the energy in which you do it, you pass it along to other people. If you got an attitude, then guess what? That attitude is going to be passed on to other people. So you want to always be mindful of the energy that you serve in. And those of us who are in positions where we serve, whatever capacity it is, whether you're serving on your job, whether you're serving in the ministry, wherever you're serving in, you want to be mindful of your energy. And we are here. We're going to add our hostess into the stream. She is here. Welcome.
Hey,
Hi,
how are you?
Christelle.
I'm good. How are you?
How are you?
Good.
You hear our little jazz we got going today? Welcome to the podcast. I'm shifting that energy.
Hey, that's all
We know
right.
about
That's all
that
right.
busy energy that we're in a lot of times, where we're going and going and going and going and going. And I
Mm-hmm.
was just talking about the energy in which we serve, something that I was being mindful of today, as going through what I started, how my day started. I
Right.
started out, not feeling that great. And so I had to really do some mental shifting
Mm-hmm.
of my energy, because I know I'm in a position to serve. You never know when you're going to serve, but I know
Okay.
that I'm in a position to serve, so I have to be mindful
That's
of my
right.
energy the energy in which I serve. So listen, y'all, you gotta be aware of that energy. And so I got the podcast started, and welcomed everybody on in. I know we both had some busy days. I love your background. I love
Oh, thank you.
it.
Cozy,
I
cozy.
love it. I love it. Comfy cozy. Our couches match. I
Listen.
I love it. But I am so grateful to be in the position that I'm in and to really serve, not from a place of knowing it all, but
Mm-hmm.
from a place of on the journey with you and with others. And I want to share this quote. I found it right before the podcast started as I was shifting my I want to make sure, let me before I share, let me make sure that everybody, because I see a few. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's make sure, we're gonna make sure that I share this in a couple of places. Let's see.
Y'all get the all natural today. Ain't had time to do nothing. Come as
Listen.
you are.
Hey, look, listen, sometimes it just have to be like that.
Hey,
You
listen.
understand?
Yes.
And ain't nothing wrong with it.
Nothing at all.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it at all. We gonna just look, we gonna serve in that good genuine energy. You
Yes.
understand? We're gonna serve from that good pure place. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? We're gonna serve from that good heartful place, because guess what? I like
Mhm.
integrity, and I definitely like a genuine spirit when someone is being of service to me, you know.
Yes. Yes.
Today I had an experience, it was crazy. I stayed online 30 minutes.
Can you
30
see
minutes.
me?
You frozen up. I hear you, but I can't.
You can't
I
see
see
me.
you. I
What
Your
in
camera's frozen.
what in the world is going on here? Hold on. Something ain't acting right. Hmm.
But I hear you. That's weird. I don't. Your camera is frozen, but I do hear you. We got some technical difficulty, but she'll go back out and come back in, and we'll get started again as we work through the technical issues. Y'all know technology doesn't always cooperate. So I hope you all, once again, we were talking about energy, and I wanted to just tell everyone, for myself, this is something that I've learned. I had to be very mindful of the energy in which I serve, because I realized if I got an attitude and I get to trying to serve and be helpful to people with an attitude, that energy can pass on to somebody else, and I don't want to do that. So I took a little time before we got started today, because I really wasn't feeling good today. And so I just basically found this quote before we got started today. And the quote says, just because no one else can heal or do your inner work for you, it doesn't mean you can, should, or need to do it alone. And that is by Lisa Oliveira. A lot of times for me, I would say when I'm on the healing journey, well, I'm on the healing journey now. On that journey, I spend a lot of time by myself, because I'm very mindful of what I put myself around. And that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's very important to be surrounded by the people that you want to share energy with. And she's back.
I'm back.
She's back.
Hey.
All right. It's okay. So I just shared the quote, and the quote, I'm gonna share it again. So our hostess, y'all know her as the Queen Christelle West. As on her screen, Arthur Crystal West. You see her name on the screen. And if you didn't know what you're listening to, we're gonna put it up here so you can know what you're listening to. You are listening to the Network and Chill podcast.
Okay.
Okay, so this is something we do on Thursdays. We come live to share with you. And Christelle is the CEO of the Excel to Excel experience. And
Yeah.
if you have not, listen, let me tell you something. The things that she teaches us in that experience, it goes with you every day of your life. It's not something that you learn one time and you just okay, it's over with. It's literally something that you can carry with you every day of your life. And it's so amazing. We were talking before the podcast about something that I was doing to my little girl.
Yeah. Calling the
And it
people
was
on
just
you.
right, and it was listening. Let me tell y'all, a lot of times we get caught up in the goal of life. We get a pattern and we start, getting complacent in that pattern and we neglect ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, honestly, it became dangerous because I was easy to give to other people. It was easy for me to give to other people, but leaving myself out.
Mm.
So I can get up in the morning at 3 o'clock in the morning, tired, sleepy, ignoring my
Ig-
body when I got a headache.
Ignoring your little girl, but go ahead.
Ignoring, right, ignoring my little girl and
Mm-hmm.
going on this job and serving at maximum capacity,
Mm-hmm.
driving, feeling terrible. And I've
Mm.
done it for months. I'm guilty, y'all. I've done it for months. Ignoring, all because my grown self got to pay the bills. My
Mm.
grown self, my grown self got to go. I got to do this. I got to do this. We gotta. And guess what?
Mm.
When my grown self rolled up this morning, my little girl say, we can't get up.
Mm. Lay here.
My little girl said, no, 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 we can't get up this morning.
Mm-mm.
And so you have to listen. You have to really be in tune with that. And so I'm so grateful. This is why I have her on the podcast with me because I honestly believe and support the Excel to Excel experience. And I will stand on this. I feel like every woman, every man needs to experience this experience because it is an
Mm.
awakening. It's an awakening to yourself. You understand that a lot of people just don't have. I even shared a sermon with you where the preacher was literally preaching a part of what you teach. And I was like, oh my God, that was so powerful. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. I was like, you know how amazing it is and confirming it is to
Mm-hmm.
know that you're on a path and you're
Yes.
experiencing God in the way that we should experience God. And first of all, knowing that God is not separate from us, we are
One.
one with God.
Mm-hmm.
When you really listen, when you really tap into that, we don't want to go into the seminar. Y'all listen, we're not gonna
Mm-hmm.
go into the seminar. Y'all just gonna have to get in touch with Arthur Crystal West. Find her on Facebook, on all of the social medias, Instagram, and
Yeah.
you have got to connect with her so that she can help guide you into a
Mm-hmm.
journey. And it's just the beginning. It's an everyday process.
Day.
Every day of your life.
Nah, I said
Oh look, listen, day. Day.
Day.
Y'all got that. I'm already country. Y'all know it. I'm from Alabama. I
Day.
got it.
Yes.
I got it naturally. Listen, every day of the week. So that was the quote. Let me read it again. It says, just because no one else can heal or do your inner work for you, it doesn't mean you can, should, or need to do it alone.
That's so good.
And that's why we're here. We're
Mm-hmm.
here because we don't want you to feel like you are alone in this journey. You're not the only person that feels the way that you feel about a lot of things. You're not the only
Mm-hmm.
person. And guess what? Somebody else is there and somebody else cares. You are
Okay.
not alone. In the words of Michael Jackson, you are not alone. You are not alone.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So we won't go make this
I karaoke.
karaoke experience on this chill. We could do that one day. But listen, before we get into our main topic, I wanted to talk about number 2 on our things that lower your vibration list. We
Mm,
started this list last week. And
mm-hmm.
number 2 is holding on to the past. And
Oh.
this goes so well with the topic for tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Woo, holding on to the past. You know, the spirit spoke to me a couple of years ago and said, you need to get rid of that mental file cabinet that you got.
Mm.
And I was like, ooh, ooh, ooh. That file cabinet. I had a big file cabinet. I didn't even have a little one. I think I might have had 3 file cabinets. You
Listen.
know, I had them filed. Look, I got time, dates, occurrences, what you
Right.
did, what you said, how you said it, how you made
Mm-hmm.
me feel from I don't know how long ago.
Right.
And every time a person would do something similar to something that was done in the past, oh, I go to that mental file cabinet.
Yep.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Oh, let me look you up. Let me pull out your file. So I seen on this day you did this before.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm holding on to guess what? And the whole time you digging yourself deeper and deeper and deeper into that vibration, that lower frequency vibration. What say ye
Mm-hmm.
about that, Christelle?
Ooh, I could say a whole lot about that. So I'm currently writing a book, Welcome Home, Divorce the Story and Marry Your Truth. And so a lot of us, and I ain't even talk about a lot of us because I like to talk about me. So I was married to the story of my trauma, which was my past, right? So how can I begin or create healthy relationships if I'm still in relationship with what happened? And so in trying to start new relationships, if I have not divorced that energy, that story that I've been holding on to, even though the characters in my life in my movie change, guess what? I'm still holding the same energy. So guess what? I am going to recycle the same experiences with now different characters. So holding on to the past, as much as we want to think that we've moved on because we're in a different relationship or we have different friendships or different businesses, if you are still holding the energy of I'm not enough or I'm not good enough, I'm too fat, I'm too whatever it is, whatever story you're telling yourself, it's going to show up in that next relationship. And it's because energetically mentally you're still attached to what happened or what didn't happen or what they did or what they didn't do. And so now nobody is doing this to you, you're doing it to yourself. And so you then attract more experiences of the same for you to get the lesson. Like life is the greatest teacher. It really is. And so if you pay attention to the events and the things that go on in your life, what you realize is that, wait a minute, this is a cycle. And how do I break the cycle? Well, first of all, you got to identify that you're in one. You got to admit that it ain't everybody else, that you're the common denominator of why shit ain't working. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am. Let me raise my hand on this. I told you I had the mental file cabinet. And honey, I was the best person that could tell you. Let me tell you what they did. Do you know what they did
So let me tell you this right here, Bridget. So when you say a mental file cabinet, there's a scripture that says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, right?
to me? Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with that, then what have we allowed to get in our heart? So really, the heart is like our subconscious. The heart is what pumps and makes this life work, this mortal body move, right? And
Exactly.
so the Bible also says that out of the heart flows the issues of life. Well,
Mm-hmm.
if it's the blood that's flowing through me, is the energy, the life center, well, then what have I allowed to get in my heart? When you say a file cabinet, what you're saying is I told myself a story and
Mm-hmm.
out of the abundance of my heart, because I done told the story so long that now it's in abundance. It's in abundance. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Mhm.
And so now you've given life to it. Right. And so when you think about it, guess what? That energy, that thought, it sends a frequency and it connects to all of the energies, whether it's guilt, shame, depression, whatever it is. Now you then triggered it. So now guess what? Now that energy is pumping through you because it was in your heart. So guess what? Now you're going to attract an experience to reveal to you really what's still in your heart and what you need to let go, what you need to release, right? So if it's no longer serving you, then why hold it? Then why hold it? And so it's things like it's podcasts like this, the subconscious is like, and I'm just going to keep it real. We grown here, but the subconscious is like a vagina and the consciousness is like a penis. It's the conscious thought that penetrates the subconscious mind in order for us to plant a new seed, right? In other words, it's the conscious thought. That's why we do affirmations. That's why we do prayer. It's the conscious thought that penetrates the heart and plants a new seed so that you can give birth to something different, right? But if you're choosing to hold on to the past, then you don't have any room, right? You're already pregnant with and delivering what it is that you say you don't want. I'll be looking at that baby don't look like me. That that don't look nothing like who I say I want to become or what type of relationship I want to be in. And so as it relates to relationships and understanding external relationships, you first have to understand your internal relationship, which is most of us, just like what you just shared earlier, Bridget, your inner child, your spirit was telling you to do a particular thing, but because you're in survival, you are now emotionally neglecting your spirit, right? Which then causes you to be out of alignment, and which causes you now to pump what's familiar, the programming. Right. I gotta make it happen. Go get the money. Go. I gotta chase the bag. What if you chasing it? That means it's running from you. But anyway, that's a whole nother segment. So we ain't supposed to be chasing nothing, right? We supposed to attract. That's what feminine energy does. It's attractive. We supposed to attract it. But if I don't know how to relate to myself, how can I relate to others? So your spirit was prompting you, but again, because there was something happened, lack of connection. Y'all weren't relating. Your spirit and your flesh was not relating. There was a disconnect, right? So now what happens is in your external relationships, what you see is the same thing happening in your internal relationships because sometimes when we're in the picture, we can't see the frame. So then what happens is what's going on internally is now projected externally so that we can see the things that we need to fix or the things that we need to work on. So none of us are without like answers. The answers are all around us. But what has to happen is we have to get rid of the duality thinking that it's them against us or me against you. Now we all one. What do you come to teach? What do the spirit of you come to teach me or show me about me? You know what I'm saying? Whether it be that I'm grown, whether it be that I still need growth, whether it be that I got envy, whatever it is, you are going to attract to you what it is that you need for you to see the truth. Not the truth you telling everybody, but the truth of really where you're at mentally, emotionally, spiritually, so that you can move to the next phase in life.
Absolutely. Now, while you were talking about the heart, I have been to school for medical assisting and we had to study the heart. And now like you say, so it is in the natural, it is in the spirit. So check this out. My issue today was my blood pressure. Okay. So what happens in the heart is the heart, like you said, it is a pump, but it's taking deoxygenated blood and it gives it oxygen. And if that heart ain't pumping right, guess what happens? You don't have enough oxygen in your blood for your body to sustain itself. So it raises your blood pressure. In other words, your heart starts to work overtime. Overtime. Your heart is pouring from an empty cup.
Yep.
All you got is a bunch of dead blood flowing through your body. You have no oxygenated blood because oxygenated blood have lively cells in it. The cells are moving, the cells are creating, the cells are regenerating the things that you need in your body. But when you do not have proper pumpage in your heart, guess what? And guess what for Bridget had some mental file cabinet issues this week that literally this week made me want to shut down. This week, Monday, I was out of there. Like, I don't want to do nothing. I want to shut down. I literally got off work, got a shower, and got in my bed. I didn't want to do nothing. I wanted to shut completely down. And two or 3 days later, where am I at? In a doctor's office with blood pressure issues because I don't have enough oxygen literally pumping in my body to keep my blood pressure stabilized. And shout out to Darlena. I thought about Darlena all the while I was in the doctor's office. She talks about emotional well-being in relation to our health. And the way that you brought about a new revelation is about taking care of your spirit or being in tune or listening and connecting with your spirit. And honestly, on yesterday, Spirit spoke to me and told me to do something that got me to be clear so that I could hear. Because I had started to, I almost went off the cliff into doing what's normal. I had a bottle of wine, Crystal, being transparent for everybody. I had my bottle of wine on my desk. Listen, I wasn't gonna even drink the wine out of a regular cup, a wine cup. I'm being real. Y'all see these cups?
You was finna take it to the head.
I was finna take it to the head, and y'all can see it's empty. I didn't do it because, listen, it's nothing happened. I didn't do it, y'all. But I was about to go down the rabbit hole of what's familiar and try to drown that emotion in that wine. But because of the experience that I've had with the Exhale to Exhale experience, I know how to breathe. I know how to stop.
That's it right there. Yes.
I know how to pay attention to myself and not blame and point the finger and say, oh, you did. No, I don't do that. I don't live. Listen, this is what I say. You can't be a victim and be victorious at the same time. You got to make up your mind which one you want to do. You can't be a victim and be victorious at the same time. You got to make up. So I made up in my mind, I want to be victorious. I'm going to be victorious. So I don't.
You already victorious.
You know, I chose it. I'm already there. I lack nothing. We talked about this last week. I lack nothing.
You lack nothing.
I lack nothing. So I stopped thinking in the lack mindset because it was that lack mindset that made me go get in the bed.
Yeah. And here's the thing, the residue of the past is going to always show up. The residue of the old stories is going to always show up. It's kind of like this. Have you ever been in a relationship and the relationship was toxic and then you got another relationship and then you saw signs and symptoms of the old and you immediately attach the two together? You get what I'm saying? Right. And so what happens is when you begin to develop a healthy, happy relationship with yourself, that old nature is going to basically try to get you to hook back up with it. You know, and so that's what I hear you saying. It was just like I almost went down the rabbit hole. Well, that's that old nature, that old way of doing things is pulling on you saying, nah, you know, the scripture says, you know, after the house been swept clean, they want to bring in 7 times. So now you want to bring in their buddies with you, with them, which causes you to be stuck, you know, even the more so. So for me on my journey, it was becoming self-aware of why I do what I do. And again, if you begin to look at life as because it's a movie, it's being projected through your eyes. What you see is what you feel about yourself internally. And so you make the connection. So if you say, oh, they judging, well, it's not really them judging, you judging yourself. But the only way for you to see that there's judgment is to identify it in another. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what we do until we become self-aware that there is no separation. It's only in the mind, right? So when I look at people or if I identify a particular whatever, well, why am I identifying? And Jesus said this. He said he knew no sin, right? He knew no sin because all he knew was love. So now when I look at my sister, my brother, you know, if I look at them with anything other than love, I'm looking at them and I'm identifying in my mind. I'm thinking I'm identifying them, but I'm really identifying myself Because when I see whoever, all I'm supposed to see is love, not jealousy, bitterness. But the reason I see it is because it's reflecting back to me the very thing I'm identifying, right? So I've got
Absolutely.
to learn and look at my life and see, where am I toxic at? If I am going to create healthy relationships, then I've got to identify why I'm still holding on to, this no good energy that's
Mhm.
cheating on me, that's not loyal, that's not supportive, that doesn't affirm me, that talks about all of my issues. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the old nature does. It finds everything that's wrong about you according to what you have experienced in your life. Well, if that was an external relationship, we wouldn't put up with it.
It's
We'll say
absolutely.
deuces, right? But here's the thing: we'll stay loyal to the dysfunction in that relationship with ourselves. Crazy. But let
Crazy.
somebody do it externally. We like, nah, right? And so
Right.
the things that we do externally, they have to be done internally. It's not that you need to quit them, or maybe it is that you need to quit them. But in order to get rid of them, and I ain't talking about a particular personality, I'm talking about an energy, and I'm calling it them because if you don't release it in you, they're gonna show up in many different facets and in many
Absolutely.
different people, in many different characters. But you're gonna experience the same thing, and it's not them, it's you. So I have
Absolutely.
to break up with those parts of myself. And here's the thing: all the time that old nature gonna be knocking on your door like, girl, yeah, you might you might need this and you might need that. So that old nature try to get you to go back into survival, which means that you begin to look for what you need outside of you, when God says that he's given you everything that you need pertaining to life and godliness. It's within you. So when we go into survival mode, that means that we are in pursuit of something that we have believed that is outside of us. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Which then what leads to what? It's an illusion. And so you continue to pursue it outside of you, only to experience the same results over and over
Mhm.
and over again. You got to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. So if you really want something different, and again, we talking about relationships tonight and holding on and letting go and the importance of it. If you want a healthy relationship with anything or anybody, it first starts with you. And in order to have that, you've got to divorce the story that you have accepted as truth. Yeah, it's true that you experienced that. It's true you went through that, but it's not the truth of who you are. And so we've allowed experiences to define us and create an identity that is not who God created us to be. And we marry to it. Matter of fact, we fighting to hold on to them titles. We fighting to hold on to these relationships. We fighting to hold, you know what I'm saying? When you know it's not serving you. It does not bring any fulfillment to you. You know what I'm saying? That you'll end up in the hospital with high blood pressure. Come on.
Correct.
At what point are you going to choose you? You still wait for somebody to choose you externally, but you ain't never
Mhm.
chose yourself. Because why?
Come
You
on.
still putting everything and everybody before you. So you're not carrying the energy that you want to be chosen. You're the one doing all the choosing. You know what I'm saying? So again, you gotta look at yourself.
Woo.
Like if you're gonna really be real and fix your life and transmute this energy, it all starts with you.
Listen, we didn't already transition into our topic. Look, we didn't have a professional transition, but if you saw the flyer, that things that lower your vibration went perfectly with our topic, which was, are you healed enough for a relationship? And she just listen, she just laid down the foundation of it. Are you healed enough for a relationship? And it doesn't, and I'm not talking just about romantic relationship. I'm talking about friendships. I'm talking about any kind of business relationships, because we have to be able to honestly look at ourselves, and because we are the common denominator. We are,
Mhm.
and you taught us in the first seminar that look, all people are mirrors. They are mirrors, mirrors, mirrors. And the thing that you don't like, that person, oh honey, I'm sure if we can ask everybody to talk about something that you don't like in somebody else, ooh baby, we'll be here all night entertaining what people don't like
Talk about
in
myself.
somebody, in somebody else. They will have a whole paragraph, a couple of books, some essays, some blogs. We could all sit here and you know what? I'm gonna tell you, when I find myself starting to do that, I hear my spirit saying to me, I wonder what that is in you.
Mm-hmm. All the time. Once you become self-aware, well, for me, once I became self-aware, I'm always self-correcting, and that's the beauty of it. Like, you don't have to have no, like, you can feel when you out of sync, when you out of alignment, and this week has been trying for me, just family issues, just all types of things. And, for a minute I was out of alignment, life is happening, and even though I have the understanding that I have, I'm still in this fleshly body, but the difference between probably me and others is that, when I do have those moments, I'm seeking to understand why, how, what thought that I had that triggered this type of emotion in me that is now causing me to feel lethargic, that is causing me to feel like I want to quit, what is causing, really, what is it, and so then I'm seeking to find the truth. Why? Because I don't want to experience what I'm experiencing any longer. And so I have to get to the root or identify like what happened that shifted me, in that way. But again, we talk about relationships, and most people understand relationships on an external, not an internal. So we know and we say how we want to be treated. But do you treat yourself the way that you say you desire somebody else to treat you? Are you spending time, quality time? Are you dating yourself? Are you writing love notes or sending yourselves, inspirational, whatever it is that you desire, taking yourself on a picnic, like whatever fairy tale you have told yourself about external relationships, have you created it? Because I can honestly say that in both my marriages, I expected them to just get it. I expected them to like show up and do the things that I desire and wanted, right? I gave my power away by expecting them to give to me what I had yet to give to myself. And so I stopped waiting. My birthday, the first event because when it came to people's birthdays, I would surprise them and I would do different things for them because my inner child wanted to be celebrated in that way because she didn't have many celebrations, right? So I created those experiences for other people. But here's the thing I told myself was that people was going to show up for me the way I showed up for them. Well, guess what? We know stories. When you tell stories, they end up what? Whooping your tail. So I had to quit telling stories and take my power back and then create the type of celebration that I wanted to experience. I took my power back from expecting them to lay it out for me. I laid it out for myself. So now what am I doing? I am now teaching those that are part of my life, that are part of my circle, how I desire to be celebrated. Prior to me doing the event, they didn't know, but I had an expectation that they was going to do that. So again, in creating healthy relationships, you have to give to you what it is, because we teach people how to treat us by how we treat ourselves. We teach people how to treat us by what we accept. So if you are not making you a priority, don't expect your partner to make you a priority. I'm just saying. Because most people have not been taught, you know what I'm saying? Healthy relationships. Like, even if you think about just communicating, just to kind of just paint the picture, when you think about communicating, a lot of us have been told, speak when you're spoken to, shut up. Girls are supposed to be seen and not heard. All of these different things where we lost our voice. So even communicating and articulating our feelings becomes really, really hard in relationships. Because why? We fear that we're going to get shut down. We fear not being heard, and all of that is attached to programming from childhood, right?
Correct.
So now, how do I create healthy communications? Well, first, I got to learn to listen and trust the relationship that goes on within myself. But if I'm all the time ignoring what my spirit is saying, then when somebody comes along to tell me how they want to be treated or how they desire friendship, relationship, guess what? I'm going to ignore that too, because I didn't already in my mind determine how I want to be treated and how I think people should show up. So I ain't even trying to hear you. So then now the disconnect, because ego is what causes separation. So when we get an ego and say your way is wrong, my way is right, that causes separation. You ain't going to never have no connection. Never. It's not until you allow people to be who they are without trying to make them be who you want them to be and accepting and loving them as they are. Don't resist how people are, accept how they are, and then flow with it. But because we are still holding on to the story, we'll tell ourselves that they should be somebody else or they should do something else. And then guess what? The expectation and the disappointment is not on them, it's on you. Because they never sat down
Absolutely.
and said they was gonna be this, do this, show up like that. You told yourself that. So really, who you mad at?
You,
Yourself.
you.
They didn't
And
do
you
it.
know, let me, and this is something for me, since I become aware, I've stepped into the light. Since I've stepped into the light, Carolyn. Since I've stepped into the light, what would be your suggestion to not, once you realize, okay, it's not them, it's me.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be aware of the stories that I'm telling.
Mm-hmm.
How do you stay above water as far as not beating yourself? Don't drown yourself when your goal is to lift yourself up,
Okay.
and really be accountable. What would you suggest for a person who is? I would talk about me. I'm a person. Another thing, Monday I was beating myself up. I really
Mm.
wasn't angry with another person. I was angry with me.
Mm.
Because you know how you whoop a child and you be saying, you know better. I
Mm-hmm.
told you not to do this. You
Right.
you keep, them is the words that come out of a lot of mama's mouths when they give you
Right.
whoopings. I told you 3, 4, 5, 6 times, don't
Mm-hmm.
do that. Bridget
Right.
does that to herself
Mm.
repeatedly. And so what would you suggest to a person to not, once you become aware, don't
Mm-hmm.
take that awareness to choke the life out of yourself. You know, what would be your suggestion to stay above water with it? Don't choke the life out of yourself.
So let me ask you this. You have children, right?
Right.
At any time, would you do to your kids what you do to yourself?
Not repeatedly.
Okay. All
I,
right.
I
Go
I've
ahead.
done. I've gave them a whooping, but I
No,
don't.
no,
I
no.
wouldn't.
What I mean is, you said you beat yourself up, right? So let's
Mm-hmm.
just say I was your child and I came to you and I said, Mama, I made a mistake. Or Mama, I knew better, but I did it anyway. How would you respond to me if I was your daughter and I admitted that I know that I should have made a different choice? How would you respond to one of your children?
Well, I probably would thank them for being honest. The first
Mm,
thing,
okay.
I would thank them for being honest and recognizing where they made a mistake. Uh, I would let them know the consequences of that mistake,
Mm-hmm.
but not necessarily just, beat them consistently about it. I would have grace for that child.
Mm. So you'll give it to your kids, but you won't give it to you.
Mm,
Come on now. So again, you did the healing and connecting your inner child workshop. So you
right,
now know that the Bible says the child shall lead the way, right? And so
right.
our spirit is the innocence of who we are, and children are innocent. So the spirit of Bridget is innocent, right?
Mhm.
Why would you want to beat down the innocence of you? Children are innocent. You're not gonna whoop no kid and beat them down if they just learning. Bridget, you just crossed over into this born again experience. You're learning, right? A new way of living, a new way of being, a new way of understanding. You're deprogramming and then downloading new programs. So why would you beat yourself up for not learning fast as other people learn? Why
Mm,
wouldn't you celebrate that you're conscious and aware, and and because you're conscious and aware, then you can make different decisions that put you in a different position that deserves to be celebrated. That's like you getting an F in school and then you coming home and saying, Mama, I raised my grade to a C.
mm, right,
You get
right,
what I'm saying?
right.
So it's not even, That's old programming that says I'm not good enough, I should be this, I should be that. No, remember, the past and the future are thieves. They steal from your today. So usually when we go into that beat down or those emotions and feelings, and it's because we've traveled out of our now. So in this moment, in this now, look, you showed up. That needs to be celebrated, right? You did the podcast, you put it on. You was in the hospital earlier, but you showed up, right? And so this is the truth of who Bridget is and what Bridget wants to do. That deserves to be celebrated. Forget what happened on Monday. Forget what happened on Tuesday or Wednesday. You in today. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday can't serve you today.
Nope.
But today can give you everything that you need, want, and desire if you look around and be grateful for what you have, not what you don't have, not what you've accomplished, but what you have accomplished. And so we spend so much time, again, relationships. We don't relate to ourselves, but we go celebrate somebody else. We don't relate to ourselves the way that we say we want to be related to. So when you going to stop and celebrate you and say, Bridget, you did that. When you gonna stop and say, Bridget, you know what? The thing that used to trip you up, you now stepping over it. When are you going to? Because that's what kids. Come on, when you talk about kids need affirmation. They need acknowledgement. They need encouragement. They need. So when are you going to give? Because remember, now you're the parent of your inner child. The Trinity is you. You're the mama, the daddy, and the child. All of them energies working in you. Okay, masculine, feminine, and the child. All right. So now, how are you going to parent your inner child? Are you going to beat your inner child down? No. You're going to love, because with love and compassion. So if you're going to maintain this connection between your inner child with love and compassion. Have I drawn thee? You have love and compassion for yourself. You got to have patience with yourself. Right. And then when you think about kids, if they fall down, they're not finna sit there and tell no story about what they should have, could have did. They're gonna get up, they're gonna brush their teeth off, and then they're gonna go on about their way. Right?
Right.
So except you humble yourself like a little child, how can you enter into the kingdom? I'm just saying. You better look at these babies and see how they move and what they do. They teaching us. They little innocent spirits is they giving us the codes. And we looking at them because we the parent. Ego, we want to be delegators. Nah, a child should lead the way. You better look at them kids and learn from them. Because a lot of us, if we be honest, we grew up too fast. We grew up really, really fast. So what happened was we forgot how to play. But these kids are showing us how life is supposed to be just beautiful and free and how we're supposed to lean and trust and depend on God, not be in survival. You know what I'm saying? Wearing these mortal bodies out. Not that ain't what it's supposed to be. So the kids showing us when your kids come, they want something. They ain't think about the dollar amount.
Nope.
As a matter of fact, they ain't think about that.
Nope.
They just ask for what they want. And they ain't messed up about how many hours you worked. They ain't messed up about how much your paycheck gonna be. They ain't looking at none of that. They just want what they want. Well, as children of God, we can do the same thing. What we desire. You know, all we got to do is what we tell our kids, be obedient. Be obedient to what the Spirit is leading you to do. Right? Absolutely. Obedience is better than sacrifice. It said the willing and obedient is who eats the good and the fat of the land. All God wants is our obedience.
Listen, and I found this scripture right before the podcast as well, and I put it in a different perspective. It's Amos 3:3, and it says, "Can two walk together except they be agreed?"
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at that as not externally, I looked at it internally.
Yep. So the daddy in you was saying, I'm just talking about like if you broke it down and how it look in the house, right?
Right.
So the daddy in you like, nah, you shouldn't have did that. Go sit your butt down, you know. And the mama in you like, oh baby, it's okay. Let me just love on you. This, that, and the other, right? But they're not in agreement.
They're not in agreement.
They're not in agreement. Child is suffering. The child suffers.
The child is suffering. And I was like, that, you know what? And that is, listen, I don't know if y'all are listening live, but if you catch the replay of this, let me tell you something. You got you something to listen to. This is some powerful, everyday, practical, life-changing information.
Yes.
It really, really is. This is something that once you are exposed to it, once you have committed your life to understanding why you do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Because honey, Bridget was on that merry-go-round. Oh, MG, I got a couple of books where I wrote all about it. And honestly, because of the new revelation of my life, I haven't written another book because I don't even want to tell my story the same way. Like
Yes.
I don't want to tell my story from a victim mindset. Like I don't want I have no desire to put that out into the world just in that same victim mindset.
That's
You
right.
know, now I have a new viewpoint. I have a new understanding. I have a new revelation. I'm evolving into someone who can serve from a genuine place.
You
And
gotta
this
be
is what
patient.
this is what it's all about, y'all. Listen, we can stay on this topic all night long, but we won't because we already done gave you a lot.
Yes.
In these 51 minutes, you have gotten a lot of information. I want you to listen to me very closely. Go to facebook.com and I want you to follow the Excel to Excel page. Follow it. Excel to Excel experience. Also, follow us on YouTube. These videos will be posted on YouTube. You can watch them at your leisure. We know that everybody is not always available exactly at this time of night. We both had days where we were literally pushing the button to get to this time, but I'm committed and I'm staying devoted to this because this is a part of me. And this is a part of my healing journey. And just as that quote says, we don't have to do this journey alone. So if you want to heal and you want to really, if you have that desire inside of you to really heal your inner child, please follow the Exhale to Excel Experience page on Facebook. And as always, this podcast was brought to you by Divine Excellence Consulting LLC, where I am the CEO of that LLC, where we have many services, but our main thing is we're fulfilling our purpose through service. We serve in many capacities, but our flagship service is publishing. If you would like to tell your story, and these type of things for me, is I help those who tell their stories from a different light as well. So we pass the healing on.
Amen.
Each one teach one. So listen, go follow author Crystal West. Let me put her name up. Hold on. Let's put her name up here.
So I gotta change it. So on Facebook, it's Christ E.L. Morgan.
It's Christ E.L. So we're gonna type it. Hold on. Let's type it into the. Let me stop this. There we go. It's different on Facebook, but I can type it in the comments. I'm going to type it in the comments where you can find her on Facebook.
Yes.
I want you to connect. Let's see. Connect with Christelle. It's Morgan on Facebook, right?
My many names. And on December the 6th, we will be starting our next Healing and Connecting the Inner Child workshop. And so December the 6th. And so we'll share the link as well in the comments. And so if you're interested in being a part of a 3-day workshop that allows you to identify where you may have left your little girl or your little boy and how to go get him or her so that you can heal the disconnect within, then you don't want to miss this workshop. It's December 6th through the 8th. It's 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. each night, but we have an amazing time. We learn a lot, we uncover a lot, we unpack a lot. But it's definitely you are worth the investment. Like there's no greater investment than investing in yourself. And so you are the gift. You know, when God created you, he gave us a gift, right? And so some of us don't know how to open up that gift. And so that's what this workshop does. It helps you to identify and to open up those gifts so that you can begin creating a different life for yourself, for your children, and your grandchildren. We all about breaking cycles over here. And so if that's where you're at, what it is that you desire for your life, again, we'll leave the link in the comments. Healing and Connecting Your Inner Child Workshop, December the 6th through the 8th, 7 p.m., 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you are looking for an individual coach, hit me up. I would love to walk with you on your journey back to finding the truth of you. That's what I do.
Absolutely. So you have the information. So we have this information spread on YouTube and Facebook. So you can find us. You can find definitely connect. Listen, let me tell you, this workshop is not like anything you ever experienced. It's not like anything you've ever experienced because, like I said, it's not a do it one time and you fix. No, not 3 steps to finding the bag. It's not that. It's listen, what you discover in this workshop is absolutely life-changing. Be in it. December the 6th through the 8th. Be in it. If you didn't catch
what happened? Bridget froze this time.
Okay, there we go.
Okay,
you see me?
I can see you.
Okay. The Wi-Fi is acting crazy. So we're gonna end before it flip out.
All right.
Y'all have a good evening.
Have a good evening.
Thank y'all for joining Network and Chill.
All right.
Bye.
Peace.